Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Just coming over to get the stayer here so that we can get started on a little bit of early morning fertilizer spreading. We've only got one field that we need to spread fertilizer on, and that is that one over there. The other two have already got as much as they need. If you just take a quick look here, because we've got these three fields. We will soon be buying field 1, and I think we'll probably end up buying field 6 as well, because that one will also have the price reduction on it. And then I'm not sure. I'm thinking that we should go for like field 19, maybe 16 as well, and sort of expand these. And those are quite small fields. And I wouldn't mind getting field 11, but these small ones here, these would also be good. 18, 17, 21, and 10. They're the very tiny fields, so they're quite cheap, quite easy to go and buy. Actually, I was just going to... Yeah, see, if you have a look at not the growth, if you have a look at the fertilizer, we've got a little bit of a ring around that one where it's only got one layer of fertilizer on field 14. So I might just do a little trip around the edge of that field first, and then we'll go into field 15, actually. That's what we'll do. My question that I asked you all last week was, which combine did you want me to get? Now then, I just want to... it's all the way round on this one. So we'll do one trip all the way round on this field, and then we'll go back to the other one. So, I asked you which combine you wanted me to buy last week. The choices that you had available, hang on, there we go, were the Case, the Massey Ferguson, and the Rosselmash. Actually, let me just stop a sec. If I press B, there we go. I'll just very quickly show you the three combines that we had. It was these three here, the small Massey Ferguson, the smaller of the two Rosselmashes, and the Case Axial Flow 7130. They were slightly cheaper. We've used the Rosselmash back in FS15. I know quite a few people did actually vote for the Rosselmash because they thought that it was it's not something that you see very often. A lot of you naturally have gone for the biggest combine because it's just more efficient that way. A lot of people said the Massey Ferguson because they haven't really seen those before, but the feeling in the comment section that I got, because I always ask you to talk about why you're voting for the one you're voting for, the feeling I got from people that were arguing in favour of the Rosselmash was the Case has been around for a while in the game, so it's been seen, and the Massey Ferguson is being done to death by everybody. Everybody's using the Massey Ferguson because you haven't seen them in the game before, and it's all new, and so lots and lots of people have had them. However, I was a little bit surprised at just how one-sided it all ended up being. We had 2,239 different votes, and of those over 2,000 votes we had, 232 people wanted the Rosselmash, 246 people wanted the Massey Ferguson. So a overwhelming majority of 1,761 people want me to use the Case. So that's the combine that we'll be buying, and we're going to go and get that one in this episode, actually. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to engage the hired help to do this. Come into here, and press H. There we go. Right. We'll let that one carry on. So, yes, we're going to go, and we're going to take that combine there. We're going to drive that one back to the shop, and we're going to buy our brand new Case combine. So we will buy the combine, but we're going to lease the header. And we are going to try using a header trailer. We will lease that one as well. And hopefully this Case combine will actually be able to lift the header off of the trailer. I'm just disengaging the hired help, and I'm coming over here to do this inch piece over here. And come up here. Right. And then it will come up to the middle as to finish off. That little pile of grain there, I did say before that I might just leave it because that is like the first tip anywhere thing that we ever did in this game. I decided that I'm going to do that. It's going to be like our little monument. It's the first time we ever experienced the tip anywhere mechanism, and it was quite a nice moment. Just finding out that you could do that. It was we're sort of getting used to it now in the game, but it was quite a game changer, really. So yeah, we're going to leave that there as a little monument to how the game has progressed. And even when we do eventually get a bucket, we're not going to actually clean it up. So just the last little bit up here. So while the hired help does that last little bit there, my question for this week is, I need a bigger sewing machine. I think you can all agree that the drill that we've got, the Great Plains harvest starts here, lots of numbers and letters, I won't read them out now. is a little bit small for our Challenger. We need something a little bit bigger to give the Challenger more of a challenge. So I've been having a little careful think, and obviously there's potato harvesters, there's various harvesters, planters. There's various different types of planters for different types of crops. We're going to go for the standard planter at the moment, which is the one that will do wheat, barley, OSR, beans, and then the grass and the what are those little ones called? Radishes, oilseed radishes. Yeah. So anyway, this one here, the Väderstad Rapid A600S, is quite a popular one. It's kind of the mainstay of many a fleet. It's a 6-meter working width, so it's sort of suitable for all sizes of fields. And it's a direct drill, so you don't need to do any previous cultivating. Excellent machine. It only carries seed. Then we have an upgrade on that one, which is the Horsch, the Pronto 9. This one can also take fertilizer as well. It does all the same as the previous one. It also is a direct drill, so you don't need to cultivate. It's a wonderful machine. So there's that one. That's a 9-meter working width. And then you've got these two great big ones. You've got the Lemkin Solitaire, which doesn't actually take any fertilizer. It's just sort of on its own, but you do have to cultivate before you use this one. However, it has a 12-meter working width, so it's quite a big machine. And then finally, we have the Amazon Condor. This is a 15-meter working width. It does take fertilizer as well, but you do need to cultivate in front of it. Quite like this one. My only complaint is that back in FS13, when we had this one last, it was a direct drill machine, and as far as I know, I could be wrong on this, but I do believe that the actual Amazon Condor in real life is a direct drill machine. So I was a little bit disappointed to find out that this one isn't direct drill, but I guess it's so that you don't automatically default to the biggest machine in the game and it does everything and sort of writes off everything else. It's just to add a little bit of balance to it. So you've got a huge cultivator at 15 meters, but you do need to cultivate beforehand. I mean, it does at least eliminate the need for fertilizer. So that is my choices. That is this week's question. Do you want me to get the Väderstad 6-meter direct drill, the Horsch 9-meter direct drill, the Lemkin 12-meter drill, or the Amazon 15-meter drill? It's your vote, it's your game. Don't forget to click on the card up here and actually cast your vote, and then head into the comment section down below and let us know why you're voting for the one that you're voting for. Now then, we are going to just go and park this one up, and then we're going to get our combine over there, and we're going to take it back to the shop at long last, and we are going to return it. Now, what I've said previously is that we use the garage for returning stuff, because you can return it from anywhere in the map, and we drive stuff to the garage, and then we can return it. So we will do that, I think. No, actually, no, we won't. We're going to drive it all the way to the shop. We're going to take it to the shop and just, make sure that it's gone for good. And at the same time, very soon, we're going to be getting rid of both of those drills, because we probably won't be doing it immediately, because we're going to do a couple of the other crops. But when we want corn or sunflowers, we will be obviously getting another new drill to replace that one. Now, I'm not actually sure at the moment if I'm going to put that one up to a weekly question. I might just decide to grab one of them. None of the drills that plant corn, sunflower, and sugar beet are direct drills. You've got to cultivate before you use all of them. So I'll probably very likely just go in and, let me just show you very quickly, by that one there. It's a 6-meter working width. This one here is alright, but it's generally I just feel it's a bit cumbersome. It doesn't have a great turning circle on it. This one I like it better. I get on better with it. I mean, there's actually no real reason to go between the two. This one's got a 9,000 litre tank, and it takes fertilizer as well. And it's a wide. Okay, so maybe I will go for. I don't know yet. I'll have a think about that. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't really made my mind up. And there, lift that one up. Lower that down. Right, now, if we do this from in cab, you can't really see very well because of the header being in the way. We can live with that, I guess. So we'll come on up through here. If we turn on that beacon, yeah, that's absolutely blinding. If I look down like that, I can just sort of put it out of the way. We're not going to need it just yet, but we will when we get onto the road. We've also got field 1 is now ready to harvest, so we'll probably do that. You probably noticed that I've got some more money. I went and harvested field 5 of the sunflowers after the end of the last episode, and got a nice bit of money out of that one. I was quite pleased with that. I think I used the smallest header that was available, so it took quite a while to do it. But I did end up with a nice job. I think I had nearly $100,000 on that one. I can't remember exactly, but it's all extra money to go towards all these extra things that we're slowly accumulating. So we're getting combine now, and we're going to be leasing a header to go with it. And then we're going to be buying field 1, and probably we'll have enough money now that we can just go straight in and buy field 6 at the same time. So we'll have all this extra land. And that does mean that very soon we'll be in a position that we can start thinking about planting the poplars. Before we plant the poplars, though... Oh, I'm supposed to have my beacons on. Before we plant the poplars, we've got to make sure that we've got the money to buy the forager. We cannot do this until we've bought the forage harvester. Because it's a machine that we drive. That's going to be how we're doing it on this map. If we could drive the machine, we buy it. If it's towed or hitched on or anything like that, then we lease it. So we're still leasing the majority of the machinery. It's just the driven machinery. We're buying it just to try to make ends meet, because it didn't seem to be working particularly well, the leasing all of it. The leasing costs on some of the machines, like this combine and like the tractors and that, they just seem to be a bit too high to actually be worth doing it. But there you go. Right, I'll meet you up at the shop, and we can see about buying our new shiny case. Right, bring this one in here. Turn the beacons off now, they're starting to get irritating. Come over to the return point, and that is the last we will see of this combine. The Sampo Rosenlu Comia. Yeah, the C6. Anyway, I'm not going to go all out and say it's the last time we will ever use this combine, but it's certainly the last time we will use it on this series. How's that? Now, if I return that, it's going to dump the header down onto the ground like that. That's not the way to behave. I suppose it's not ours, so yeah, we'll be okay with that. It's not actually ours. If that's how they want to treat their machines when we return them, that's up to them. That's down to the dealership now. And combines, here we go. And it was of these three. So there we go. The Axial Flow 7130, $285,000, a 10,500 litre tank. That is quite the beast of a combine, that is. No upgrades available at all, so we just buy it as is. So there we go. And buy. Okay. Right. Now, if I back out of there, we will go into the next section, and we want to look for headers. So we've got options for some other headers. It'd be like the Diamant. Actually, no, it'd be that one there is the one that we would use. That's for the 7130. So that one is the one that we would lease for both sunflowers and corn. I don't think we'll get a specialist sunflower header. And then this one here is a 35-foot header. I was actually quite surprised. It is such a jump up, because the Rosselmash one is all the way down here at just 7 meters. This one here is 7.6 meters for the Massey that I offered you, and this one is 10.5 meters. That is a huge difference. Anyway, select that one, and we lease that one. That is 5,060 straight off. Okay, and then per day while it's sitting there is 460, and then while we're actually using it, 2,300 per hour, which isn't too bad. That's not a bad rate, really. We also want a header trailer. And now then, can we fit that big header onto this trailer, or do we need... I think we'll need this one. To be realistically, I think we're going to need this one, the bigger one. So we get that one, and I'm going to change the colour to a red so that it matches our case combine. And we'll leave that on grey. It's an extra 500. It is a little bit extra. Oh, actually, what is the... back... what is it? It's normal is yellow. Is that one? 85 per day per operating hour. Are you kidding me? We're gonna have to pay an extra $30 Well, an extra $5 a day if we change the colour. An extra $25 per hour to have the different colour. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to live life dangerously, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to throw our money away now, just for the sake of it. I know, and this is where we find out that we can't actually take the header on and off of that trailer anyway. Right, come back over here. I'm going to just back up a little bit and take a good look at everything that we've bought. There we go. That's looking good. It does look good. Now, if we can get it hitched on, and hopefully the header trailer will allow us to have our header back. This is the bit that I'm a bit concerned about. Right, this is the bit that I'm slightly nervous about. Let's go into cab. We'll take a quick look around the cab. It looks like it's a leather seat, actually, rather than a soft fabric. I've always preferred soft fabric rather than leather. I find them more comfortable, especially in a long day. It's just generally better to have a soft fabric. I don't like the red colour of the seat, right? I would prefer a black seat, or at least, a greyish or a black. The red, I don't mind the red livery on the outside, but the red seat, no, I just don't like that. That's just me looking at that. So let's move forward a little bit more and hitch in. There we go. We've got a nice console there. That's probably a touch screen. They usually are. Most of them are now. See the grain tank just fine. I don't know what those are. I'm assuming that's just some shelves so you can put some of your belongings in them. And I'm going to assume that those bits there behind the seats can actually lift up and you can put your dinner bag in them. Because there is one up there by the look of it. That there would be a box, and you can open that up and you could put your milk in and stuff like that to keep it cool. The combine I used to drive, I used to have one just up there, and you could put a bottle of milk in there to keep it cool, so when you made your coffee it hadn't gone bad. But the behind the seat shelf, I've not seen that, but I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Anyway, it doesn't really matter all that much. That black lever over to the side over there, I'm going to assume that that's actually a gear lever. The combines do have them. You tend to... a lot of combines now will have two, maybe... Oh, no! No! Oh, you're kidding me. Look, it doesn't quite... What is that? I mean, it does. You can lift the thing off, but... Really? Look at that. Ah. Disappointed. I really am. I'm genuinely disappointed with that. Look, it isn't the way to do it. Oops. Okay, now I've gone too far and I'm stuck. No. Okay. I didn't. This. Oh, it is fortunate that it does kind of correct itself quite well, but I wasn't expecting to... It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was supposed to be all good and easy and yeah, and I don't like it. Alright, let's just bring that back onto there. So we go once. You don't want to push forward any further, but then when you try to take it off, it lifts. Look at that. That, as far as I'm concerned, is unacceptable. I mean, it could be worse. We could have had a smaller combine and then it would have been worse still, but... I'm hoping it'll be alright. Now, if I unhitch now, I'll back up as far as it... There we go. Now, if I press the unhitch button, is the header just going to flop forward and tip right off the other side? Because that's what they do sometimes. So here we go. You ready? Unhitch. It would help if I actually had the header selected. Okay, and unhitch. No, it stayed on there. Okay, well that is one step in the right direction, I guess. And now... This is where we find out that we don't actually have a hitch on this combine, do we? If we don't, I'm going to have to go back with the combine and then come back with the pickup, which is not something I really wanted to do. I was kind of hoping that we would just be able to hitch on with the combine. Because you can with all of the others, can't you? Okay, so the case combine has no hitch on the back either. Right. Well, that's two disappointments that we've had. Yeah, see, there's no hitch at all. Nothing. Oh. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I am a little bit disappointed about that. So we're going to drive back home, and I'll turn the beacons on a minute. There we go. And come up to here. Let's just check that there's no traffic. Yep, that's fine. The road speed is about the same as the last combine. Let's go into cab to do this. I'm disappointed that we couldn't actually hitch that one on. That I didn't expect the combine to come without a hitch on the back to be able to tow the trailer around. You would have thought that that would kind of be like standard, procedure really, or just like a standard issue. Now, I've been told that I mustn't perform rolling stops. I must stop completely. If you do a rolling stop, a stop sign in the States, you get a ticket. So we do have to make sure that we stop properly. Incidentally, Sen, my wife, Sen Leia, she has agreed to occasionally find some interesting facts about agriculture and agricultural related things. And something that she found out that I had no idea about, I never heard of this before, and I'm wondering if anybody else has heard about this before, is New Holland. Now, the New Holland tractor is not named because of this. The New Holland tractor is named because of something else. But New Holland, the name, it's not the first time it's been used. The New Holland tractor is not the first time that name has been used. It actually is the name of a country that we all know. Okay, everybody has heard of this country, everybody is familiar with this country, and that country is Australia. And apparently, many years ago, Australia was first named New Holland. It wasn't named Australia, it was named New Holland. But after, I think it was like 150 years of it being called New Holland, the British, in their arrogant wisdom, decided that they didn't like it being called New Holland, and so they renamed it. Us British, we have a long history of doing things like that. We don't like things that talk about any other countries, and so we had to do it our way, and so we changed the name. But it was originally called New Holland. Australia was originally called New Holland. Now, I don't know if anybody else knew about that, but I had no clue, and it was later changed to Australia originally by an English explorer who thought that it shouldn't be called New Holland. So there you go. An interesting fact for you about Australia. And also, I was talking last week about the price of land, and saying that land here in the UK costs an absolute fortune, and I thought it was among the most expensive land in the world, along with property. Turns out that, yes, it is expensive, but it is nowhere near the most expensive in the world. Some of you have told me how much the land is worth near you, and it's worth a fair bit of money, but it's not worth anywhere near as much as here in the UK. And yeah, that's fantastic, because it means that it's easier for you to buy land if you want to. Other places in the world, however, make the UK look quite cheap by comparison. Just trying to think, there's different places in the States. The variation in price in different areas of the States is a lot higher than, I thought there would be variation, but the actual variation is considerably higher than I originally thought it would be. And yeah, so it does go from some of the cheapest land in the world to some of the most expensive land in the world, just depending on where you happen to be. And there's some very, very good quality land in the States, and that is very, very expensive. And it's the same Europe. There's loads of European countries have got some ridiculously expensive land, and then there's other areas that it's quite cheap. So, and the same with Australia. There's huge variation. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't sort of appreciate just how much variation there is in the price of land in different areas of the same country. Don't forget to stop. And I suppose I should have done, really. I wasn't really thinking about it in all that much depth when I was talking about it last week. So, in my defence, I was speaking without thinking. It's not the first time I've done that, just ask my wife, she'll tell you. I'm very good at doing that. So anyway, yeah, thank you for all the responses that I had on that weekly topic that I asked you last week about the price of land. But there's some very, very expensive places in the world, and there's also some very, very cheap places in the world. So there's still hope for those of us who haven't bought any land, although it does appear that most of the cheap land these days, you can't really do a lot with it apart from grow rocks. So there you have it. Right, we're going to just go and get this last go and get this header trailer, and I'm hoping that I can actually tow it with this pickup. I'd like to get a bigger pickup, like I did in my time-lapse series. However, I'm not sure, because... Oop, did you have to walk across in front of me there? Now, in the UK, if a person walks across the road there, like on going through a footpath, they actually have right-of-way over traffic that are turning off to go onto that road. I don't know about other countries, but here in the UK they do. However, most people who are actually driving aren't aware of the fact that they have to give way to passengers on those at the junctions like that. Right, it doesn't like turning very much, this truck, but it is doing it slowly. I'm seriously considering... Hang on, let me just going to unhitch a minute. I know this is a bit of an extravagance that we wouldn't normally go for, but I want to see how much we can get for selling this truck and how much we would need to pay out for an upgraded truck. I know that we do have things that we actually need to buy. We don't need to actually buy this. Right, that one would give us 10,000. So we get 10,000 for that one, and how much is the big truck? That one's $54,000. Right, that's going to cost us 40 grand. You know what? I'm going to do it. Select. And for the colour, I'm going to go for black. And then the rim colour is going to also be black, I think. And then the design colour is going to be yellow. And the design isn't going to be standard. I'm going to go with twin GT stripes. Now, I did originally have one of these designs, which like does the doors and the bonnet different colours. This was on the time-lapse series, and I had a lot of people saying just how hideous it was, and why ever did I go and pick that, because it was just awful, absolutely awful. So, yeah, I won't do that now, just to keep everybody happy. So there we go, I've swapped the trucks. It was $55,000 that we have spent. And we have a nice black truck with some yellow decoration on it. I quite like it. So, it is a bit of an expense that we didn't actually need to spend. There's 40 grand that we could have spent on something else. We could have got 10 sheep for that, right? With 10 sheep we could have bought for that, but we haven't. We have gone and bought a new truck. So we're going to take this back. I like this truck. And since I got it in the time-lapse, I've been meaning to buy one on this one as well, because it's absolutely fantastic. But what I don't like about it is you can't see the indicators. You watch. I'm going to turn the indicator on in a minute. I'll turn the indicator on so you can see it there. But if you have a look at the actual truck, see? It's just this little tiny light on the side, and you can't see it. Right? If you back out, you just can't see it. And if someone was actually driving along and they had that, you wouldn't be able to see where they're indicating. You can't see it on the front either, right? I think that is a very, very poor design. But, I mean, in real life, if they were... That wheel looks really... Well, you look at that wheel. The alignment is way off on that. That is going to be ripping through the rubber on those tyres. That's terrible. Look at that tyre. It's terrible. Right, so anyway. Yeah, in real life, it would actually light up the whole thing. So, and not just that little tiny strip around the edge. So you would be able to see it fairly clearly. But it's just in the game, it kind of ends up doing it like that. But if you have a look at this thing from the inside, what a snazzy looking vehicle. Look at that. So comfortable. Leather trim. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of leather trim myself, but and the leather seats, it's not really something I tend to go for, but it does look nice. It does look very nice. A little bit peculiar looking to me, because I'm from the UK. Obviously my steering wheel is on the other side of the car instead of this side of the car. That's one big difference. But also, I mean, my wife... Whoa! I'm not looking where I'm going. I'm looking down there. My wife has an automatic car. And this is an automatic as well. But as I understand it, most vehicles in the States are automatic. Whereas in the UK, most vehicles are a shift, a gear lever. So you have a clutch pedal, and you use the gear lever, and you select it yourself. And yeah, I don't know if it's like... Is it like that in other countries as well? I mean, people who aren't in the States... I mean, those of you who are in the States, I know that some of you have said that you do actually have vehicles... some of you prefer driving vehicles with a gear stick rather than an automatic. I quite like driving an automatic, although I find it does tend to make me a bit of a lazy driver. I get into my car and then I forget to change gear when I'm coming up to a junction. That's just because I've grown lazy and grown used to not having to change gear ever as I'm driving along. Right, there's that one. There's our new truck, our new combine. Everything is looking tickety-boo. I'm quite pleased. Is that really ready to harvest already? We're going to wait. Next episode, we are, I'm hoping... Let's just make sure that is still ready to harvest. Yes, we've still got that ready to harvest. We're not going to start this until everything is ready. So next episode, we're going to go up there and we're going to work on that field. And then after that, hoping that the harvest will be ready to start on here. We can gather it all up. And we're probably also going to need to go and hire a forage wagon. So we can gather up all the straw as well. Right, let's just park up here. And there we have it. He seems a bit bouncy. I don't know why he's bouncing around like that. So anyway, that could be the topic of discussion for today. The do you prefer the gear when you're driving, or do you prefer to drive an automatic? And also, what vehicles do you normally drive? And tell me the country that you're from. I'd like to get an idea for all the different countries. I know that in the States, a automatic is the most common type of vehicle, and in the UK, a gear shift is the most common type of vehicle. But what about the other countries? And also, obviously, if you're in the States, let me know what sort of vehicle you like to drive. Just have a little chat about it. That's what we can talk about. My question for this week is sewing machines. Which one? Not actually sewing machines. Yes, I'm going to change this. We're no longer going to be doing Farming Simulator. We're going to be doing Clothes Shop Simulator. We're going to buy a new Singer sewing machine, and we're going to learn how to sew on buttons. Maybe one day. I would like to eventually branch out into other types of simulator games. I think it could be quite interesting, but I've never heard of a sewing simulator yet. I've heard of Car Mechanic and stuff like that. Anyway, I digress. Right now, do you want me to get the Vardestad 6-meter direct drill, the Horsch 9-meter direct drill, the Lemkin 12-meter drill, or the Amazon 15-meter drill? It's your vote, it's your game. Mouse over in the top corner up here and select the one that you want, and head into the comment section and let us know why you're voting for the one that you're voting for. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.